flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We proceed with the approval of minutes from our April 20th meeting and also our April 24th session.
I'm motioning to approve minutes.
First, the motion is there a second.
Second.
Anything for second? All those in favor of Christopher's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And so that passes.
Yeah, I did one.
And we'll move on to the approval of claims. First off, from accounts payable for May 4th. Any questions concerning over there?
Make a motion to approve the accounts payable in May 4th.
Tim made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
And the second. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And so that passes. Likewise, we'll move on to payroll voucher for the period ending May 1st.
You make motion to approve payroll voucher for May 1st.
And the motion is your second.
Second.
Brian made the second. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And so that passes. We'll move on to old business. First on the old business would be Josh Wagner with P&H Food for tax evasion. Okay, you thought it was very board for you?
He's gonna bring it all tonight.
Okay. We can, if he shows up, we can circle after him. Okay. Next up on old business would be Matt Smith with the duplex sewer line. Matt, you're not.
He actually reached out to me last week, said he probably better, he's not ready.
Good.
So he, I'll probably get next week for you.
Good. So go ahead and put him on for the next meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Next up on our old business, you'll be surprised, but Katie, I'm pivoting to you.
Yeah.
I reached out and asked you for some information for our Ashland Street. We've got some speeding issues right now. And I asked you for some information on like speeding platforms or anything, any other devices you've encountered in the past.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass that to Scott.
Okay, Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, so I looked at the roadway bit and coming with a possible suggestion. So there, you are able to install speed humps or speed tables, we typically call them. It's a 12 to 6, it could be 6 to 12 foot raised platform, basically what you typically see on your roadways, and it can help reduce your road from 5 to 10 miles per hour on a given basis. There are 2 decent locations that I thought they could install them at. Because when I was looking at the road, there's different measures in which it can use for traffic calming. You need to do curb bump outs, so reducing the overall width of the roadway, or you can install this traffic, the speed humps. And so a more cost-effective way is the speed humps themselves. They can range from $6,000 to $8,000. If you do concrete, it's a little bit more, but they last longer. So that's just my giving input on that given location.
So there's concrete and what's the other?
Asphalt, just HMA on it.
What's the expected life expectancy on asphalt?
Not long, so you can be like maybe 5 to 10, depending on plows. Whenever installed, I've noticed that that's a pretty big culprit for those. Is that the plows, even though the signs are out there, they'll hit them because they don't raise it up. Concrete, you can have at least like 15 to 20 up there. So you're paying more up front with the longevity of it.
Is there anywhere in this area that we've got speed humps made out of asphalt? That you're aware of?
Excellent question. I'm not aware of that, so. Install that, or seen a couple of installations, not in the area, but it's a pretty typical practice.
It's a lot.
Pretty typical practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one just, there was one somewhere close, when they
Check it out.
check it out.
Yeah.
See if that thing will, yeah. Okay, both of them will be, fixed.
Yes. Yeah, they'd be permanent installations. That time until you, if you do asphalt, you could remove them during the milling process. But when I was looking at the roadway and, you know, granted, I'm not familiar with your guys' paving operations, it looked like that road had been paved in 2022. Just from what I can tell from the distresses, I don't know if it's how accurate that is, but, so you probably won't address that roadway for a bit. Anyway, so probably look at like maybe 5 or 10 years. You know, than that.
You think it needs two rather than just one?
I would put two down as opposed to just one. There's a location that's just south of the Faithful Drug Store. That's a prime spot that would impact a lot of the residents from the parking. And then there's another one about like 150 feet north of the stop sign. But that would just be my recommendation.
You said that'd be a 6-inch, 12-inch
Oh, sorry, no, the overall width of the
width,
of the
okay.
speed limit itself.
When you say it slows people down about 5 or 10 miles per hour.
Yeah, it can. Because it's listed as 20 miles per hour, so.
That's slow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one.
But like, given the incline of the, or like the slope of the road itself, I can imagine people going pretty quick.
Is that one that would need to be, some kind of signage or one color on the?
Yeah,
Is it fine, it's coming?
yes. So typically you put in, signage right at the hump itself to allow, the snowplows to know exactly where they are, but then also, drivers, and then typically try to remember, you know, distance from the hump to, like, you know, there's like a pre-warning sign that you put in front of it as well. And then in addition to that, you can install, pavement markings on there, so that you put arrows on them, also with, delineators, or, sorry, little tape marks on the road. To let people know that it's approaching, but pavement markings just kind of added, add on. So you don't have to do them, but you do want the signs there.
Are you familiar with those in other neighborhoods and areas?
Yeah, so.
One concern I have is, I know one of the offenders that habitually speeds up and down that road is a young kid, black biker. Does it come a point where you just race from one to the other?
Can, but I mean, if you set them up, they can't accelerate fast enough so that it causes a issue to anybody walking or in the area. So that's why I'm recommending two as opposed to just one in the middle. That way, that individual wouldn't get to a certain point where they're a hazard or dangerous.
In other instances where these are installed, would the speed limit be 20, would it be faster than that?
I wouldn't adjust it if you're having issues. So, I mean, it's like typically residential areas 25 to 30 miles per hour, you know, so you got it listed as 20, so just keep it there. But if you want to raise it, great. I mean, it's up to you. But I would keep it. I wouldn't change it.
I was thinking in my head, like, if it's 30, goes down to, you know, go down, decrease by 5 to 10, would it be like Clifton trying to ramp or trying to do something else to? You guys have any more questions? Right now, we're trying to explore getting kind of good answers that are out there for us, so,
Yeah, of course.
thank you.
And we can also look up too to see if we can maybe find different examples, if we can look a little closer to home, but just bring them together, we
Yeah.
can't not anybody really has them. The only thing I could think of, and I want to have you look at it before I like say, oh, no, let's look at this one, but there might be one in Scottsburg. Maybe. Maybe. So I'll look, I'll have him take a look at it and see if that's something.
I feel like if I maybe encounter some, maybe.
There is on the north end, there's a east-west street that runs from 31 all the way through town that's got several and housing addition areas. It, actually, you cross over the interstate and you hit a couple speed bumps right there.
Where at?
It is just north of, I'm trying to remember the name of the street.
In Strasburg?
Yes, it's in.
Oh, it's, okay, cause there's
It's in Scottsburg, yeah,
okay,
it's right
so
by a
there's-
housing addition on the north end of town, because it's on our lines, that's why I would be out there.
there's that one, and then there's another one over by the new city hall.
Okay, I haven't been by that, but
There's the,
Would you maybe go and reach out to your lineman for their driving, have them count that in their trucks, maybe they.
I mean, I'd have to drive over in my little truck, but it's not the same as theirs, but yeah.
Well, no,
It's definitely
Place
slows you down.
If they know other places.
Okay, see if there's other places in the area, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate that. All right, next up, our old business, we've got pool.
So they installed the pumps, but they couldn't turn the pumps on, so we don't have water. We don't have water because we have no line.
Good.
Still trying to turn and get that fixed. Struggling with that issue. But we got the filters in, but we need to they're putting concrete, which I didn't know where that, but we're putting concrete, and they have, somebody coming this week. We're putting concrete for $1,600. That's all the cost she got back. And she called Cooper and one of them couldn't get it, nobody could get it done quick enough, because we need it done. Be fixed, so we got 3 weeks to get the full water. Then you drop the pump works. Everything.
Do you need from us a motion to,
I'm gonna make a motion to approve, concrete installation for the new filters that were purchased for the pool. Let's say up to 1,800 and 16, but let's say something goes wrong. Maybe. Is that all right?
okay, anything in the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Anything in the second, all those in favor, of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, that passed.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else on our old business?
You know, whether the commitment to the town, so that should be good on the grant.
did you see I sent you there?
Yeah, so they've got it, they submitted it, so that should be good. Still working on bids, architect, things like that, additional funds.
Alright, moving on to new business.
I've got one more.
Oh, sorry.
Main Street flags. John Wilson reached out to me, one of the memorandum of understanding on the understanding.
I have not drafted that yet, but I can get that over to him.
Okay, thank you.
It won't get far.
Thank you. He said he's got a lot of donors and everybody waiting, so it says right now, once we get, we're growing.
Well, I'll send contact information so I can get it directly to him.
Thank you.
Well, maybe, look for the bracket, maybe next time, see if there's brackets that have maybe on both sides. I know right now this is going on one, but there's maybe more cost effective, that way you have maybe buying and rock throwing or whatever else. You maybe should have him go with that too, maybe that would be a sure that you can maybe go in on. And that might not be for everyone, but just some of them.
Okay.
We just kind of start that process, and maybe you go for it, maybe don't sign it. Okay.
Did you have something like that?
Yeah, they got me then.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I had one for each.
Sorry.
All right, moving on to new business. Mr. Lee Murphy, but 415 South Poplar Street.
Hey, everybody, I'm Lee Murphy. It's my first time here.
Thank you.
I'm a local contractor, as you can see. I bought a property here in town. It's directly beyond the Hutz gas station. there was other people that wanted the place, they wanted to tear it down, because it was in pretty bad shape. So I did, I'm not gonna tear it down, I've actually been rehabbing it, we're gonna turn it into a nice, pretty nice home. We're trying to resell it, not about ready, but I think we're gonna try to resell. But on the front of the house, the porch looks like it's got to fall in. The two corner posts, I noticed were rotted out. So I went ahead and replaced those. But I noticed the ground was super wet at the time, even when it's not rained for a while. And I did some pictures, I don't know if that's what the process is here, first time here, so I'm more than happy to show you guys what the condition is. So basically, at my corner of my property is an alley, and Hut's gas station, they have one 8-inch and one 6-inch gutter drain line that terminates in my ditch right in front of my property here. There's also another 4-inch line that comes catty corner, I believe it comes from the package store. I'm not positive, but it does angle to that business there. So there's a lot of water that comes into that ditch, not just from my property, but from the surrounding areas as well. There is there's a drain that's on the other side of the alley, but it's in bad shape. Looks like it's caving in. A lot of concrete pushed into it. There's a lot of gravel pushed into it. It would probably help alleviate some of the problem if that drain was working properly, I think. And it would keep stuff from coming further down on my end, because it naturally goes downhill to my property.
Is that drain on Miller Street?
It's actually on the alley,
Okay.
right next to Huck's gas station. I took pictures of the wall, if you wanna see it. It'll help explain. So, this is the property, this is the condition, it's full of gravel and everything else. But here's Huck's, Herman's package store here. There's a drain right here, right across the alley from my ditch. And it's about to fall in. I think the fuel fill truck runs over it all the time. And it's caved in really badly. So, if that could be addressed, maybe it would help. But these lines here are about 20 inches lower than the ground level. So even if I dig it out, it's not gonna help, because I'd have to dig it out about 6 feet all the way down the road to get it low enough to make everything flow, you know what I mean? So, I've got the ability to dig it out, it's not a big deal. This is a condition of the sidewalk right past my property, you can see the ditch is not there. It's just made its own ditch and it's crumbled up the sidewalk. So it's been going for a while. I think the house was vacant for a long time. I think they rented for a long time. Don't think anybody really cared about it. And I want to resell it. I'm not gonna rent it. I want to resell it. So I want to look as good as it can, you know. Show what it's good.
Oh,
That'd be great. Sure.
There's just 5 pictures here. These are the posts that I have replaced because they're well. Here's the sidewalk past my property. I mean, it's made its own ditch here, and then it just, when it rains a lot, the whole sidewalk's covered, there's nowhere to. These are the two main drain lines coming from Huck's. There's also one right here, it's covered up by the grass, but it's coming from the other direction. This is a 6-inch, that's 8-inch, that's 4-inch. Here's the drain this is my ditch here, here's the drain that's further uphill. But like I said, it's caved in and full of gravel and concrete and everything else, so it's probably not working right. So everything that misses that comes down to my property as well, and it floods this whole front yard. Like the whole front yard is flooded when it rains a lot. Like there's nothing I can do with it. But I'm just showing, here's Huck's here, package store over here. And my house is right there, right beside us. So again, it's full of gravel and I mean, even if I dig it out, those drain lines coming in are lower than what I can dig. So it's still gonna fill my ditch, you know what I mean, even if I dig the ditch out. I don't know if it's just over time, I don't know how many cuts has been there. But there hasn't been some engineering involved as far as the height of that drain coming into that ditch. It's gotten lower over time or what, but I'm just looking for some direction, and I want it to look nice when I go to resell. Right now, it's like junk, and not like it, you know, so we can talk about it again or what happens from here, but
Okay.
I know it's typically the homeowner's responsibility to dig their ditches out, I guess, that's what I was told by.
On the back of the line right there, would you mind sharing your telephone number and line right there?
Sure.
Just your name,
Yeah,
with your contact information.
Yeah.
We'll talk with, Sean, do the conversation.
that it? Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, I'm going to jump down real quick. Turn back over to Kate, HWC.
Which do you want?
We,
Do you want US 50 or do you want community crossings?
let's do US first.
So, we're doing a project with NDOT. It's going to start like right around Marion K, and then it's gonna go all the way through 50 through up to Seymour, right about to Airport Road. We're doing mill and overlay, and then we are also doing drainage improvements here in Morristown. Pretty much once you get past Scott's Auto, it's gonna be just mill and overlay from there on, just white line to white line. But up in this area, we are actually adding in some inlets. We are actually going to take some drainage and move it off. And so hopefully, that road that goes down by the hobo, it won't flood the hobo anymore. It's actually going to go into a catch basin, like right where that road, like you've got 50 here, and then that road splits, and there's that grassy area. I think we determined that was the town, right? The town owns that. And then at the bottom of that, we're gonna put a catch basin in there, and we had met with these guys, on a field visit, and we showed Sean, where it's gonna go. And, they were gonna bring that back to the board to kind of, for approval, that he would be able to maintain that and kind of clean it out whenever it needed it. But that's also gonna help pull that water from the hobo and then also from those duplexes and those apartments, and hopefully it won't, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna flood those streets, but hopefully with the extra inlets, they're on 50 in front of JC, it'll be a little bit better. So we're helping some drainage down into there, and then we'll also help the drainage, there in front of, the Francis Street, across the street from Azteca. Okay, so we're gonna do a drain or an open ditch there, and it's gonna go on down, it's gonna help all the drainage and just everything. There's also right in front of you have Scott's Main, and then that, what used to be the restaurant, there's supposed to be a drain there. It's full, so that's gonna be redone as well and cleaned out, so people are moving down there as well. But we just tonight, we just need the approval from the town that you guys will take responsibility and clean out the catch basin, that you guys are okay with that.
And this is all next year, 27, right?
Yeah, I don't think, construction probably won't start till 28.
And you said mill
No, not really.
and overlay even in town?
Mhm. Because we're doing the drainage work is being done in town, like I said, pretty much from the hobo, a little bit, well, probably a little bit before the hobo, and then all the way to right around where Scott Auto is. And then from there on to Seymour, it's just white line to white line, and just mill and overlays.
I know what you just said, but Walnut Street over here, would that be incorporated with the drain? We have drainage on both sides of Walnut.
Yes.
So those will be taken care of as well.
And if you want, I can get you some more plans and show you.
So much closer. I think it's great. I mean, that's, to your point, that's one of our biggest issues in this town is water drainage.
I mean, the good thing is Index got it.
That's the best.
Index helped them, yeah.
In the board approval, I've got a letter drafted stating that we will, town will take over the, maintenance of that basin.
Okay, And then that letter will then go to hydraulics and get that all approved and kind of finish that out to keep the project moving. I have sent out work plans for the utility coordination on that.
Thanks. Right now, I'm looking for approval to send letter of acceptance of maintenance for the base hall.
I'll make a motion to proceed with the letter for the town to accept maintenance of the basin on the highway committee project.
Can make the motions or second? Just make the second. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Got that, you were gonna do CCMG?
If you want me to do it now, I can do it post-meeting with you guys real quick, or I can do it in the public forum.
We can. That's fine.
So talking with part of the board, during the Highway 50, project, it was kind of brought up I asked about community crossings, because I used to be with NDOT, and now I'm on HWC side. Scott and I are the CCMG team for HWC. So we assist communities on staying compliant with the requirements for CCMG and then obtaining the grant as well. The community crossing grant is a grant that you can get funds for paving projects. It does not include like decorative lighting, things like that. But it is an 80-20 split for Brownstown, so you would only be paying 20% of construction costs. And looking in history wise, like while I was with NDOT, I seen that Brownstown was really only approved once. And it was all the paving down there in Ewing. That was done with community crossings. And that was back when it was 75-25 and now it's 80-20. So it's a little bit better of a deal. But then I was also looking at to be eligible for community crossings, you have to have a current PAMP, which is your pavement asset management plan, and a current ADA and Title VI document. Looking at LTAP, I did not see that Brownstown was current on the pavement assets. Now, that's not saying you're not, it's just maybe not updated yet, but I don't know. Do you know if anybody submitted?
I believe it's up to date.
It is,
I think so.
okay.
Is that year to year, or is that?
It is yearly, yeah, it's yearly. Because I was looking at yours online, it looks like looks like your roads had not been reviewed since 2023. So the roads should be driven and evaluated with the PASER rating every 2 years. So like if you're starting this year, we would drive your roads, rate them all again, and then the following year, we would only update the PAMP based on what projects you had done that previous year. But every other year, your roads are driven and it's given a current rating. Along with the PAMP, we would also help supply you guys. Now, I know this is the county, so this looks a lot bigger, but we would supply you with a map. It would show all of your roads and the ratings of them, so then you can look at it and not just try to think in your head, okay, that road's bad, this road's bad. It gives you an all overview. And then also with the PAMP, you get this is part of the submittal with the PAMP. It's a very, very large spreadsheet. Every road is listed. It also has the rating. It has treatment type that potentially could be done on that road to help to fix it or to just to kind of keep it updated, to keep it like some just crack sealing and stuff like that to keep the longevity of the road. Then we would also work with you guys on a 5-year treatment plan instead of just putting just random roads in the next 5 years. We would work with you and see what your budget is, use your actual budget, and then budgeting in that within the CCMG, that 80-20 split, and then be able to give you guys a more useful 5-year plan with the PAMP instead of just making it a checkbox. There's a lot of points on the PAMP. It's not just a checkbox document anymore. There are a lot of good things for it. The other documents that you do need to have current with NDOT is your ADA and your ADA transition plan, your Title VI implementation plan. I can assist with getting those updated. I will look at every facility that the town owns. So like an example, like I would go and look at buildings, I take pictures, and then I would take measurements of the entrance, the parking lot, and the building itself, according and making sure that it's up to ADA standards. Along in that document, I would also be looking at every sidewalk in town, and I would make a spreadsheet of every sidewalk and curb ramp in town along with an estimate and a estimated year of when these could be addressed. Then your Title VI is pretty much blanket. It's a federal document. It's a pretty much blanket form. But I can assist you with getting these updated so that you guys then could be eligible to apply in, it would technically be this would be 2027, so it'd be 2028 call, and then construction would be in 2029. Right?
The application portion would go in September of next year. And then they would start construction potentially in 2028.
Yeah.
So. And that's weird because they
The
go on a
fiscal
different
year.
fiscal year portion where theirs starts in July of every year and it's a year for that.
And they've moved the application from July to September now because the will tax. So do you know if Jackson County passed a will tax?
Discuss some more, I'm not sure.
Because the reason they moved it back is because the will tax funding would be released on or before June 30th of every year. So that way you would know how much money you would get with that, then you could use that funding to apply with CCMG as well. So it was just I would like to see, Brownstown, I'd like to see you guys utilize the CCMG to help update and fix these roads. And I wanted to, approach and say what we can offer. We've got, I've got the knowledge of the NDOT side of things, and then now the private sector where Scott's got, the engineering background and the public background.
They usually work for the city stuff then. So, which is why with the speed humps, they installed like, I think it was like 120 of them. We run through started that in like 2022. So it was part of that process.
Good.
Yeah.
And I do have the full documents with me of the PAMP, the ADA, Title VI, all of that with me. So if anybody wants to look at those afterwards, what we produce, I'm more than happy, but I know trying to go through them, they're just large documents. But that's, like I said, this year we would work on your PAMP and ADA, getting those in compliance, and then applying next September for community crossings. And then in between that time, you'd work with Scott on, okay, these are the roads that I would suggest to do now, and then help raise your overall appraiser rating.
Submitted in September of 27.
Yeah.
Right.
No, because you want to be eligible this year. It would have to be next, yeah.
But if you're up to date on your payment, which you said that you're not, okay, yeah, so then it would be next year that you'd be applying. And then just to reiterate, it's $1 million potential. So you put in 250,000.
200, right? Is that 80/20?
Yeah, 80/20.
No, I know, it's weird. It's weird.
Oh, that's the government.
So, so in order to get the full million, you put 250, but it's an 80/20 match. The math, like initially it doesn't match, like math out, or it doesn't sound right, but that's how it works out. So ultimately it's a $1.25 million project that you go for.
Okay, so that makes sense now. All right.
Yeah.
23, I think we probably Sugar Street, 24, we redid.
Concord and all, like, everything around there.
We did down in Green Street, too, not that, she talked about that, she did Green Street down in there.
You know,
We did that, what did we do up on Old One? We did that
We
was
did it,
summer
yeah,
alpha
but
sugar, I think we had. Was 23 was sugar, 24, summer 24 was,
She didn't want to go out McDonald's. She didn't want to buy McDonald's, right?
sugar was, Hoosier Christian Village.
Right. But we-
We was on by McDonald's, and I think we did, I probably lost that. We did that, cause it was, we did Hawker on out, and we ended up being Huntsville County, or trying to figure out what line it was.
Yeah.
So,
But regardless, I think we need to
yes.
do
thank
this,
you.
get this stuff.
Cause it looks like he's got it written down, I can have it, you guys have, you guys have received $1.7 million from Community Crossing.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna just rap on it, cause I was there since, I mean, I've been with CCMG since it was infancy stage, and it's a great program to help, especially your smaller communities that don't have a lot of funding that's to get these roads updated and things like that. And like I said, you know, my esteemed boss here, the engineering side of things can help you guys, you know, like really, I mean, honestly, like look at the roads and see what, hey, we can redo this one, the full one, and it covers, sidewalks too. So it covers sidewalks if they are there. Now, if you like, hey, we're gonna redo this road and it doesn't have sidewalks, but we wanna add a sidewalk, you're still only paying for 20% of that construction, even though you're paying for 100% of like the sidewalk installation. I mean, you're still getting a really good deal on that. So there's a few things that you can do with CCMG funding, and there's a few things that you can't. I'm not saying that you can't add it to it and just pay 100% out of pocket, but it's definitely a really good program. I do have with me, this is just for the ADA. I do have a proposal if you guys would want to take it and take a look at it and discuss it internal before, you know, addressing anything. However you guys do that, but I do have that with me if you guys want.
We bad, we may scan it and send it out.
Does anybody have any questions with CCMG, PANT, ADA?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got a new policy update from Lee Financial Group. That's what we need to review at our next meeting. They have to keep on. We've asked you guys to.
They didn't increase their rates, they just changed the policy and added some options. And so if you guys can just look over it at the next meeting. If you don't have any problems with it, we can pass it and get it sent in. Do we have copies of it in your folder? You can write on it if you want, I can have it.
We will circle back up to our police, some departmental concerns. Somebody wants to make the auditor? Yep, your turn.
Okay, first, I guess, and they may fill in some blanks, but, I'm Officer Cherry. For those who aren't super familiar with me or maybe don't recognize me today because I'm not in uniform, I look like a central teacher. We just had some concerns in admin or leadership for our department. I know there's a lot of uncertainty at our department right now with not knowing who our interim chief's even gonna be for when Tom retires. We're in May. I think we're pushing a couple meetings maybe before a decision needs to be made of who's gonna be our leader when Tom retires. I think the biggest part for us with the uncertainty is it brings the morale way down in our department. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I haven't thought about leaving this department, and I probably speak for almost every officer behind me. with uncertainty, morale's low, other departments are hiring that pay way better than we do. We just, a lot of unknowns, so we just kind of came hoping we could get some answers today. We've heard some rumors also about an outsider coming in. That's something we also just kind of wanted to squash. So any input from you guys would be fantastic. If you'd like to hear who I want it to be, I'll tell you. If I can nominate somebody right now, I'll do that too.
Who do you want it to be?
I think our interim and actually next chief, if you ask me, should be Joe Kelly. So
I agree.
I don't know what the holdup is, but let's make Joe the chief and let's move on. I'd say everybody back here probably said the same thing.
Who we got back there? I can't see everybody.
Levi Adams,
What's up, man?
I agree with Ryan, we should be better.
Braden was there, I'm not sure where he went.
He had somewhere he had to be.
Oh.
Braden couldn't stay and hang out, he had somewhere he had to go.
Well, I'll address, since I'm the commissioner, jokingly say that, I'll address, the concerns. I understand your concerns because it is getting close to July. I can squash the rumor about an outsider coming in. That's not been discussed, or I don't know when that rumor started, so that's not been discussed or anything at all. So I've heard you and I've heard you. I'd like to ask you guys individually, what do you want to do and why? And Ryan, you've already said that you think Joe Kelly should get it. Natalie, I think I heard you say the same thing.
Absolutely.
And just if you don't mind, we just go one at a time.
I think it should be Joe. I started here in 2013, and he was actually one of the people who trained me. And I see the dedication for his job. I was making dedication for his team. And I think he desperately has the well-being of his department on heart. I don't think it's just another job for him. I think he cares about making his department the best that it can be.
Okay, Ben, thank you.
Same here, I think Joe's the most qualified. You bring in an outsider, which I know you guys have discussed, I'm just saying, if that happened, you run into a lot of problems with, we didn't know them, we didn't get along. We all know Joe, we all get along with Joe, we like Joe, he's, in my eyes, most qualified, so. As far as assistant chief, I would say that would be up to him and you guys to determine that, but, yeah, Joe.
Steve?
I agree. Joe Kelly, he's the person that should be the next one to lead our department. He's one that he's gained all of our respect. He's great to talk to, whether it's we got an issue with something on the job or we can come to him about something personal. He's always there for us. I think I know he will be the one to keep us all here in this department. It's because of how well of a guy he is and how much we respect him. He's been Tom's right-hand man for years and years and years. He's done the job, so I don't know why he hasn't been promoted yet, but he's the one that needs to be.
Before you go, Levi, it's your question why he's not been promoted yet. We still have a chief in place, so no one's taking that position yet. So,
Right, I
but
understand.
I understand your concern. We're a couple months away, and why this plan not been put in
We
place?
got 2 months to go.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I think for us, it's the lack of transparency. And then the rumors start to spread.
Well, I promise you, Ryan, that we are being 100% transparent because everything I'm discussing right now is the first time any of these people heard it as well. So,
Okay, yeah, I understand, but you gotta understand from our standpoint, we don't get to talk to you guys on a regular basis. So whenever we're all just kind of like behind, yeah, we're just in limbo. And even, I'm not saying that you have to make Joe like chief for sure in 2027. But we don't even have an idea of like, you guys haven't even appointed Joe as interim chief. We can't even get that answer. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does, but we still have a chief. That's why we're not appointed.
Yeah, I understand that.
Until
But
July 6th.
we gotta have an interim.
Well, no, until July 6th, we don't need anyone else.
We want to
Still
know
have
who's
time.
going to lead our
Yeah.
department when Tom retires here in 2 months.
Yeah,
That's
what
why
we're
we're
asking.
coming
We
here.
go to ask the chief and assistant chief, hey, like, any updates, what's going on with the department? They say, we don't know. So,
One more. Levi, can you chime in and I'll.
Yes, sir. I also nominate Joe. I worked in another department and one of the slow readings why I came to Brownstone was for leadership. and Joe is definitely part of that. Joe's always been a phone call away. If I had a question or concern, within 2 minutes, Joe's always answered.
Okay.
So his door's always open, and he's the man that should lead this department.
All right, so I appreciate everyone's input. We're all in agreement. Well, we're all in agreement. I think I can speak for everyone else, but I think we're all in agreement on who it should be and who it more likely will be.
Where is Joe? He just didn't want to
Is that a baseball game with his kids?
So we'll talk and we'll come back in, but I know you nailed it, the jump spot, but you've reached out to me privately. And you all can reach out to me anytime you want. If you have any questions, feel free, you can call me, email me, whatever. I'll answer everything I could. I think I've answered your questions at the time.
Yeah.
I do understand your concern because we should have made a decision by now. We've not done it yet, but we will. And I think from what I'm hearing, I think we're all gonna be on the same page. No promises, but I think that makes you feel any better. Something else I want to address, though, we're having a hard time filling all the positions. I don't know if you've heard any rumors there or not, but there may be a rumor out there. I've actually talked to Joe about what we're gonna do there, if we can't fill the positions. How do we run this moving forward? And I've got some ideas that I've kicked around a little bit, and there's some action. So there is some stuff taking place as far as, but there's nothing set in stone yet that I can share with you, or that I can even maybe bounce off of you, but I think there's gonna be something out there where we're gonna try to make everyone's lives a little better, moving forward. So, and we started, and this might be talking, be very transparent with you. I think we need to evaluate, do we need a chief and assistant chief? If we don't need both positions, I know some of what I mentioned that we don't make as much here as what some other departments do. That frees up a little bit of money there. I do need to see an appropriation report or expenditure report for how we finished last year and how we're looking at Q1 this year. Then I can make decisions. If we don't need to fill that position, what do we do with those extra funds? Fair enough. Anything else?
You have an idea when you're gonna make a decision for sure?
Before July 6th.
Do what?
Before July 6th.
Come on, Tim.
Has it been discussed, like, as a group, as a council, have you guys done that separately that we don't know of? Like, have you guys had discussions of this?
We've had discussion, we actually had an executive session with Joe. Joe was involved in one early on, that's been several months ago. And this is not an excuse, but we did get a little bit of curveball thrown at us because originally it was at the end of this year. And then I moved up to July, but we still should make a decision by now. I can't give you a definite answer as to when, definitely be way before July 6th, but it's obviously not gonna be too much before July 6th, but we're getting close to that. So I'd say that within the next 2 to 4 weeks, if you put me on the spot here, give you that time period, I would say we should have no more than that. It may be 2 or 3 different phases because appointing the chief, that'll be the top priority, and then how we staff this properly, with maybe not having 9 or 10 bodies like we used to, that's gonna be another thing that we're gonna have to get creative on.
I think for me personally, I had the importance of how do we staff kind of above naming someone, so we're all in line, it's all kind of fluid. So for me, when that timeline got bumped back, that kind of threw a wrench in it, because I thought we had more time to like play with how do we properly staff, what's the force we look like in the future. So that's kind of why I think we've been kind of delaying, is trying to figure out what kind of options we had.
Yeah, that meeting with Joe was before Tom moved his data. Right.
Yeah, it's been several months ago.
Yeah.
And actually, we got a computer here, but I've got about a 15 slide deck I put together on what my thoughts are as to, one, to answer your question on who's gonna be chief, and 2, how do we staff it with less than 9 or 10 people?
If I may, I think the question of how you staff with 9 or 10 without 9 or 10 people or whatever, I think that decision needs to be made in conjunction with whoever's gonna be the next chief.
Mhm.
The reason why I say that is because if it is gonna be Joe, he's worked with everybody here. He knows, he's been doing something before. He knows how everything lines up and what coverage he needs where, as far as what days. So I think it might be a little premature to say, let's stack the roster and say, this is how we're gonna cover it, and then say, okay, now who's gonna be. I think.
Ben, that's a great point. I bounced my idea off Joe, and Joe likes the idea.
Right.
So before we make any decision like that, we'll make sure that we're all on the same page.
Right.
The idea of what?
I would staff it with less than 10 people.
Okay. Another issue, like, and I know it's not, I'm not pointing fingers, I know it's kind of out of your guys' hands, but, you know, factually speaking, you're not gonna get laterals to come up, to come to the department when they're gonna not be making the same amount of money they were before.
For sure.
So we're getting, if anything, we're gonna get new people, and we're gonna have to spend money to send them to the academy when, you know, we really need laterals, but we're not gonna get any because of that area. I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just
No, it's a fact.
saying that.
That's a fact. We only have so much money to work with, and like I said, if we can get by without chief and assistant chief, we can free up a little money, maybe not to entice someone to come here per se, maybe more than what they would already, but maybe to, I know you guys have in the past asked for shift differential, asked for, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe we can start looking at some of those things. Don't hold me to that, but it's just some things going through my mind right now.
Just try not to lose the people we got.
I agree. I think it's a great group, and that's what if we can do it without,
If we didn't care, we wouldn't show up
I appreciate
like we
it.
did tonight,
I
so.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say, it's not something that's gonna be dragged out. I mean, you're gonna lose people if we don't know things, and, we're not here to harass you guys or anything like that. We're just voicing our concerns to let you know that people like Jack, there's gonna be more people like Jack that just leave. We don't want that. We love it here, so.
Well, I mean, Jack left, so, I'm not sure he left because we hadn't made a chief yet, so.
He left a better opportunity. And for the uncertainties, I talked to him about it, so he left because he didn't know what was going on either, and he left with more money, plain and simple.
Okay.
So,
Good.
yeah.
Thank you all, appreciate it. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time.
I got a very good compliment from you the other day, I'll tell you privately.
To me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I get it from all of you, also, someone went out of his way to tell me that you were taking care of him, so. All right.
That's for the most right there. It's one of the higher.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys for listening to this, mean a lot.
Anything else to do with this?
So, okay,
Oh, never mind.
go ahead.
Mine's real quick. The Rumpke contract, I just want to go get out there. So Rumpke has proposed an increase on our contract. If you recall, the last contract we did with them, they have very clause in there. They have to give us 3 months notice before June 30th of this year before they make any increase besides the 3% built in. What they're proposing is about 3%. So I will reach out to them and remind them of that every clause. So I assume that it's going to roll. I know it's going to roll over for 1 year with a 3% increase. Then I'm sure that they'll probably go ahead and get 5. They might go ahead and, well, I'll take care of that. I really want to.
So you know that Emory clauses, it would be,
What's that?
the, supposed to have 90 days. No.
Notice period prior to an increase above beyond 3%.
And June 30th is.
And that walks in for a year, is that one where they said, all right, effective?
I haven't read that contract in a while, but,
It locks it for a year.
Yeah, like I said,
I certainly wouldn't remind you of something.
whatever. We'll have to. 'Cause
They're trying to raise it
they're
more.
proposing.
Oh, they've already come.
They've already.
Yeah,
proposed.
yeah, they sent us a higher quote
Yeah, which is,
without 3 months notice.
yeah, it's inside the 3 months, so now I'm gonna have to monitor that.
Right, okay, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
So I'll take care of that.
Okay. If you want, if you need any assistance, please let me know.
Thank you.
So Jane, over your last meeting, trying to, she's working with Healthy Jackson County, trying to get grants for the aging over 55 in Brownstown. I wish it'd be 65, but I'm over 55, coming up with grants, ideas, things that can do places we can put them. Well, obviously, we're working also on the community center at the park, so we're talking about possibly putting a better kitchen in there, more activities, possibly. What?
2 restaurants.
2 restaurants, possibly moving them. So
Jim would like to talk about a possible option that he had. He's talked more specific with Zach, and she doesn't need to go into specifics, but he can talk about what he'd like to do for Brownstown. That's yours.
Yeah, so, Jim Gillespie, I live here in town, across the square, 111 East Walnut Street, the project I acquired a few years ago, and then made that building, we live upstairs and operate the venue on the first floor. I have put forward a proposal to the town to purchase the property at 124 South Main Street, which is currently Brownstown Senior Center. I won't get into details unless you all want to, but the proposal will contemplate that the seniors would continue to be able to operate in that space for at least 2 years. If it's not that space, we can accommodate them on Walnut Street. We can work something out longer term. I would love to keep them engaged before they move to the park. But yeah, that's my proposal from a high level. I have no immediate plans to change the occupancy of the space. I would probably just become cosmetic and capital repairs on the exterior and potentially improve the second level. I'm not sure what improve means. But I think I walk the building, it's in pretty good shape. I think it's kind of potential. So we'd love to consider a potential sale transaction.
With the funds being,
The funds going towards the park. Capital need, right?
and I think Zach has a specific for all that.
Is that, is that to the point where you'd be able to share it for us to review?
What information you?
Is there like a written proposal?
There has not been a first year drafted yet. Mr. Gillespie, he did send me an email on the 24th, outlining, 2 events. Some basic things on May 2nd. So I don't think it's necessary to do over all those at this particular point in time. There are some nuances with respect to allocation of funds and the best information we can for. So we can discuss that offline.
Okay.
Yeah, but this sounds great. If the town's on board with it, it sounds like it's got a great plan. I think that price is reasonable based off my experience with buying and selling property in the area. And the legal side, we're clear. We can make sure the title gets cleared up. There's no cloud or anything that I would know at this point. So I think we should full steam ahead from legal.
Having that upstairs, that's a beautiful view of those windows.
So in my review, after I put forth my proposal, in reviewing when the landmark, when the district was registered on the National Register, they did a history of all of the buildings. So I pulled that up, and from 1950, I think, until he built his office on Walnut Street, my grandfather Alan Weir occupied the second level. So it's like,
Really?
yeah,
That's
cool.
neat.
Which I think is the original wood kind of trim. I'm guessing this is
Pretty neat.
yeah.
I didn't know that. So what was downstairs?
I can send you the summary of what the grocery store.
And with respect to the current occupants, I'm going to draft a purchase agreement. I'll proceed with, and that can be done this week. It's something to you this week, if that's acceptable. Get it cleared by board, make sure that they're on board with all the terms. All this will need to be made public once we get everything hammered out. In addition, I would like to be able to send a notice to the current occupants for which there's no contractual interest, and let them know that, their ability to retain or remain that property is completely up to the discretion of the board.
Who is, well, right? Are they organized all at all? They have a here.
Yeah, Betty County.
There's no formal Brownstown senior group.
And that's what they call themselves, so I think. I'm not sure the structure, the county has something, I think, and then.
I'm not sure if they're a 501(c)(3), they technically have occupancy rights, despite the fact that they're not currently, obviously it's a delicate situation because I think it means a lot to the community to utilize it. So we want to make sure that we're respectful of their, they make certain investments, we're going to make sure that any type of fixtures that they've added, we make sure to take those, should that be necessary. It's not totally clear what your intentions are with them, frankly, that's your business, it's not ours. But we just want to make sure that they have plenty of notice, and then they can work with you directly to figure out the next phase in terms of occupancy or not.
They're very concerned about their deep freeze with meat.
Oh, really? Yes.
There's a true that.
They bought that out of their own money,
Oh, really?
so.
Okay.
But I think it's great, it's not a purchase with a 30-day. Like,
No,
like
I-
Jim's giving them the opportunity, 2
Nice.
years, by that point, we should have this done, have their input on what your expectation for that, because we would like, that would be a much more accessible place for you to meet as well. Now, you may not be able to keep the buses out all the time and the other things, but we can room, so like, as we're getting this, we're not just, we don't want rid of the senior citizens, that's the whole.
I like my food there. I'd love to engage more with them. Review, pick up with them.
Right.
It's also, please, I've not discussed this with Jane, but I think that could
But she's working on that too.
the bigger plan.
So I'll get the notice and quote out to the seniors, and then I'll get a purchase agreement to you, and make sure everyone gets vetted by the town council, and get forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming today. See you later.
One other comment I have is going between baseball game and baseball game, and then the tennis and everything else, that playground is not it.
Can you believe it? I can't get over it. There's at least 50 people every time I go.
And I would say we probably do need to get the metal dunking going.
It's done.
It
Sean,
is done.
they
Awesome.
delivered it to Sean, he's gonna put that,
Good deal.
and it says do not hang on the ring. Just, cause I thought, okay, you can't tell somebody not to dunk, because that's a great, but because I know they're hanging, and I sit over there in my car and stare at them if I want to stand. When I was at the baseball game at 7:30 tonight, I'll be walking there staring at them like, please don't do that, please don't do that. I mean, I know it's not gonna come down right away, but.
Can you get your horn when you blow one?
Oh my God.
You scare them off others, right?
People are like, my kids are like, don't be that person. Don't be that person. And I'm like, I know that you're reading it for the little ones that it was intended for when you are an adult and you're thinking you're something hanging from a ring thing. But I'm like, ask them that. Are you really proud of yourself? But trying not to be that person. Like, come on, go in the ring. But, and I've also called and they assured me that the hanging, I don't know if you see that thing, Gordon, that it's fully capable of handling as many people as we can get on there, because I've seen 3 kids and 2 adults done it, and just.
It's amazing what those kids figure out what to do with that.
Mhm.
Mine,
Oh, I agree.
part of that, like, I show up and I'm like, wow, how did you?
I know, I just didn't know there was that many kids that, I mean, when I started all this, I didn't know there would be that many people that would be interested in going in. I knew, okay.
It's an awesome resource. My little girl loves it.
Yeah.
And there's honestly not that many places, because a lot of them are associated with schools. So I may or may not have chased off the playground. So this is gonna be really nice to have one that's public.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, not to be the building there and people are able to, it'd be great. And I, originally I was all about the splash pad. I don't know, because I think of the amount of people that are there for that. But then we have 500 people, I think, for that splash pad. So I don't know, that's still years out, but my mind is not so much on that now, because I'm like, oh, then I'm like, well, you would have 1 million people there.
You might look for investable parking,
Yeah,
when all that's going on,
it's great.
it's crazy.
And I'm so happy that the shelter looks nice. Have you been down to the shelter? With the lights working and the picnic tables, because the snow cone guy is there and everybody's using that. That was never used before because it was so dirty and it looks nice. It'll all be lit up. Everybody be down there. So I love that. I did have a visitor the other day, Nancy came to my house, asked to sit down. She wanted to know what my vision for the park was, and I said, well, to be honest with you, I don't have a 5-year plan, my plan in my head. I don't have it all written out, like you should probably. But she wants to, I said, my thing is I'd like to have cohesion, maybe the trash cans all line up, the benches all across the whole park instead of just having hodgepodge. But she's got some ideas for some shade over there. So we're still discussing that, but I'd like to see it all move together. And we also talked about, I told her that we would probably most likely move volleyball over there, but she wanted to possibly think about moving the volleyball behind the storage sheds instead of where we were originally, but that, you know, here, one of these steps, we'll have to discuss exactly where we put it, but I told the volleyball they give to Roberts, I mean, we won't break ground until fall, probably, so we get it all together. I think the funding was October, so. No, exciting. We'll probably have to have some sort of fundraiser when we get all the bids. I don't think it'll be too big because we'll have set the grant. Jim's purchase them and we have some left and then we'll have to see how much the total bid is. Because obviously we have to pay for the architect, we have to pay for the, everything's going more under, you know, that's the money what wasn't accounted for, but somewhere on it. So, you know, which I think it's good because we already have things there that people are more apt to be excited about. Anyway, that's all for my part. Good part.
Anything else on new business? If not, I'd take motion to adjourn. Make the motion or second. And if we're thinking of really in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Were you?